Hi, in this video we are going to see the draft settings. So let's click on the render setup. So let's start with the common settings. First, find out the output size. For now the width is 320 by 240. Since I'm going to see only a draft rendering how my image, my perspective and my lighting is going to look like, so I'll use 640 by 480 for now. Then you can drag down the render output. So where do you want to save the file? So just click on files, choose the file location you want the render outputs to go, and you can save them over there. And in which format? Let's say I want it in JPEG format. On the desktop, you can create a folder over in the desktop as 3ds Max render. Open, and what name do you want? Let's say render 01. Save. Okay, you see, so this is where a file is going to be saved automatically when the rendering is done. Next, let's go to VRay. Please watch carefully. In global switches, make sure if you are overriding a material, use override, otherwise let it be off. Just make sure that the displacement is on. Then in the image sampler anti-aliasing, keep it as adaptive subdivision. Then when you come down, you will find the color mapping. You have different kinds of color mapping. You will use it according to the output which you're going to get. If you want the image to be more bright, you use Reinhardt or linear multiply. If you have too much exposure, you can reduce it by keeping exponential. Then global elimination. Here, enable the GI, keep the primary engine as irradiance map and the secondary engine as light cache. Then open each thing. Irradiance map, keep it as low as possible so that your rendering will be more faster. The more lower you go, the higher the value in negative of these. Let's say if I'm coming to high, you can see if I come to low, before this was -4, this was -3. So let's keep it very low. So this is the fastest frame rate we can render. Next, light cache. Before that, check whether this show calcul phase is ticked on, so that when you're pressing the render button, you will be able to see or guess the image how it is coming like. So make sure this is ticked on. Then light cache, subdivisions, keep these as low as possible. 200 would do the trick, or 500. Then here also check whether the show calcul phase is on. And then come to settings. Now this dynamic memory limit tells how much amount of memory power has to be taken from the system. So you can give accordingly. If you have a 4 gig memory, you can give 4 gig. If you have an 8 gig memory and you still want to work on something other than that while rendering, you can give it as 6 gig. So it will take accordingly. Then tick on low thread priority, and that is all. These are the draft settings. So let's see how these settings work on this building. Yes, as you can see, I have too much white. Since I have too much white, what I'm going to do is remove this white, but not by reducing or increasing my shutter speed, but by a color mapping setting. In color mapping setting, the type, I'll change it to exponential. Now let's try rendering it. So this is the final image which we will be getting. Let's check the same for the interior which we have done. So it works for our interior as well. So this is the draft settings. Please study it by downloading the file and make use of it.